Good evening, friends. Good evening, friends. Good evening, friends. Nardo, Thomas, Johnny Bush, Tim Berry, Charlinda, Rondi. Hello all, hello all, hello all. Welcome back to Righteous Late Night. We are experiencing technical difficulties, but I'm glad you're here. Hi, Bob Ferguson. How are you, my friend? Welcome, welcome. A1C Sarah, what is up? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Studio D, Studio Delta. If you've never been in here before, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. Hello, Sean Ullman. Welcome, welcome, welcome. To all my friends, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don Larson, good to see you. Happy Tuesday. We're going to get into a couple things tonight. We're going to get into a couple issues. We're going to recap a wild Mother's Day. I'm going to tell you more about what's going on here. I'm going to take your questions. We may have some special guests. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to Righteous Late Night. It continues to evolve. Can you guys see this right here? I'm trying to work on the lighting. There's an entire Twitter account that I don't know the name of that I'll share with you. It basically criticizes people's quarantine backgrounds and critiques people's quarantine backgrounds. But I want to know if you can see this. If you can't see it, it says, rest in peace, Little Richard. Little Richard has died. And that's sad. So I wanted to at least give some sort of a moment to reflect on the passing of the great Little Richard. Icon, trailblazer, legend. Good chance to Room Raider. Thank you, Thomas Fant. To reflect on Little Richard. The Twitter account is called Room Raider. And if you haven't seen it, they rate the rooms of people during quarantine. It's pretty funny. They rate their plants. Tip, nobody has a car yet. We'll get to more of that in a second. Big day of news. Dr. Fauci testified today. The coronavirus is now spread across the White House. We are looking at possibly baseball as early as July in America. And I got a new Angry Americans coming later this week, and I'm going to recap the last few weeks, which have been pretty cool. So, Jenna Costa, good to see you. G-Day is good to see you. Everybody, what's up, what's up? A couple traditions on this show. Let me know if the music is too low, too high. You guys got to help me out here because we're all pandemic studioing, and that's always a work in progress. Couple quick things off the top. We have a book of the night. We have a drink of the night. We sometimes have a guest of the night. We have a poll of the night. And I'll start with that. If you're just joining us, welcome to Righteous Late Night. Baseball, maybe back in July. Is it going to happen? Yes or no? Baseball, July 4th. Yes or no? Is it going to happen? Kristen, welcome. Mujer Luminosa, welcome back. If you think it will happen, not if you want it to happen. If you think it will happen, will baseball, Major League Baseball, be played in July? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. Patrick Fields, Kristen Keller says no. Ronnie says no. We will see. We will see. All right. What are we drinking tonight, people? If you listen to Angry Americans, you know I have a new favorite whiskey. They're not paying me for this. I just like the shit. We will occasionally have a drink here. We'll have a drink pretty much every night on this show. I'm drinking this Uncle Nearest small batch whiskey. If you are unfamiliar with the story of Uncle Nearest, here's the bottom line. Uncle Nearest is a former slave that taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. Jack Daniels didn't just wake up and learn how to make whiskey. There's this old tale about Jack Daniels and the legend of Jack Daniels. Turns out he was actually taught by a former slave named Nearest Green. And this is the whiskey that is inspired by his story, Uncle Nearest, 1884, small batch whiskey. It's 93 proof. It is amazing. It's really delicious. It's small batch stuff. Award winning. If you listen to my episode with Jeffrey Wright, give me a thumbs up. I'll take any questions about Jeffrey Wright. That's my favorite episode of Angry Americans in a long time. But if you haven't heard it, go back and check out Jeffrey Wright. We talked to him about whiskey. We talked to him about Westworld. We talked to him about pandemics. We talked to him about his turtles. If you like Westworld and you haven't heard about about his turtles, you're missing out. Zach, good to see you. Patricia Folkrod, good to see you. Hello, 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 my friends. But Uncle Nearest whiskey. Bottom line, Jack Daniels' story is bullshit. Uncle Nearest is the man behind, Nearest Green is the man behind Jack Daniels whiskey. Jeffrey Wright tells the story. Download the episode now. You can also see the video of my interview with Jeffrey Wright from his apartment. If you want to see what Bernard from Westworld's apartment looks like in Brooklyn, Check it out, angryamericans.us. Also, coming out of a huge Mother's Day episode. Thank you, Kirsten, for checking that out. Got a lot of great feedback on that one with Jeffrey Wright. Also just dropped an episode this weekend with Kristen Rowe Finkbeiner. Hardest name I've had to say yet. Before that, it was the one before that, Anya Kamenetz, which was also hard to say. But Kristen Rowe Finkbeiner is the founder of Moms Rising, 1 million members, the most powerful advocacy organization in the world for moms. I talked to her about how mothers are being uniquely impacted by the coronavirus. If you haven't checked it out, go back and check it out. For all you mothers, all you people who had a mother, all you mothers, all you people need to check it out and pass it around. Encino Cycling Club, what's up? Welcome back. Will Powers, welcome back. Good to see you guys. Welcome back to Righteous Late Night. We're just recapping last week's Angry American show with Kristen Rowe Finkbeiner. She also does an interview in the middle of a hailstorm. Hailstorm starts in the middle of the interview. It's kind of weird. Her dog is interrupting the shit out of us, but it's fun. And she's energized, and she's smart, and she's really effective. And you should really check it out. Every podcast we've been doing at Angry Americans for the last 5 weeks has been about exploring a different front line of the pandemic. So, hello, Mel. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. But we've been exploring different elements of the pandemic. We talked to Paul Hazer, an ER doctor in Brooklyn, about what it's like to do surgery on someone with COVID-19. I talked to Jake Wood from Team Rubicon about disaster relief and how veterans all around the country are surging in to provide help. I talked to Flo Groberg from Inside Seattle in the early days of the pandemic about what it was like to be in Seattle, about how to survive isolation, about how to keep your mental toughness during difficult times. I talked to Anya Kamenetz about the future of education. Here's the big question. What the hell is school going to look like in the fall? For preschool kids, for high school kids, for college kids, bottom line, nobody knows. But Anya Kamenetz gives you a good insight to what they will have to do in order to open school and what it could look like for a school in your area. I asked her if schools are going to go bankrupt. It's really interesting. If you don't know a lot about education or you care about education, check it out. Anya Kamenetz from NPR. She wrote a great book about screen time. You're looking at a screen right now. So you're probably doing too much screen time. Your kids are probably definitely doing too much screen time, but does it matter? What's the impact? How do you manage it? Anya Kamenetz breaks it down, and it's a really cool episode. So check it out, please. Anya Kamenetz. Check out her books. Check out that podcast. And coming up, we're going to explore race. We're going to explore some of the science. We're going to talk about some more of the cultural impacts. I talked to David Aldridge 3 weeks ago from The Athletic. He's a legend, talking about the future of sports. What's sports going to look like? How do we open sports? And he tells us some interesting stories about the D-League in Japan, an NBA minor league that opened for a couple weeks in March. Spoiler alert, didn't go well. But they tried to reopen. They tried to play professional basketball in Japan. It didn't go well. And now the NBA is considering doing a biosphere. They're considering basically containing all of Las Vegas and having every NBA team in Las Vegas with their families and referees and trying to do a mini season. More on that with David Aldridge. We also talk about The Last Dance. Have you seen The Last Dance? If you've seen The Last Dance, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, check it out. We just finished episode 7 and 8, I think last night came out. I'm through 7. I haven't seen 8 yet. I'm going to watch that after this. But it's one of the best documentaries I've seen in a long time. 10-part series about Michael Jordan and the Bulls in the 97-98 season, but really about Michael Jordan's legacy and the whole Bulls cast. Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, Phil Jackson, the whole thing. It's really well done. Big shout out to my friend Jason Haher, who is the director of that. I've known Jason a long time. He's the mastermind behind that documentary. It's really, really cool. So check that out. That's Top Line on Angry Americans. We got more coming up. Look for the new episode on Thursday. We're also going to be doing more of the dispatches, which are my quick hits. 15-minute pops. We did one with Tom Colicchio that you should check out. We did one with Chris Fussell that you should check out. I'm going to do one, spoiler alert, with Wes Moore. If you heard my early episode with Wes Moore, brilliant guy, author, social entrepreneur, a guy I hope runs for mayor, governor, president. He just raised $115 million last night with Robinhood on a telethon. Wes Moore is going to join me coming up soon. So, questions. If you got any questions on the last couple episodes of Angry Americans, fire away. That's the quick start. I see all of you. I thank you all for coming in. Everybody from Kristen to Zach to Bob Ferguson, Lauren Wright. I see all of you. Fire away with your questions and feedback. Really appreciate that you like the dispatches. Mujer Luminosa. I got more coming. I think we got a new sponsor, and I think we got more resources, and I think we're going to crank those out pretty quickly. So look for that soon. And working on about 3 more podcasts, not hosted by me, from Righteous Media, that could be rolling out by the end of the summer. Exciting shit. I'm not going to tell you any more than that, but we're working on it. We're cooking it up in the garage. We're going to roll them out. Also, some breaking news in the world of Righteous Media, not anywhere else. I just did an interview with Fox News. Go figure. But Fox News is profiling folks during the pandemic and how they're pandemicking. The Pandemic Chronicles Diaries kind of thing. And I just finished an interview that just posted about how I'm dealing with the pandemic. You know, newsflash, making it happen, trying to do my best. But it's up on foxnews.com. First time I've been on there in a long time. But I talk about how my life has changed during the coronavirus. It's called Quarantine Routine. It's a new series on Fox by my friend Frank Miles. So check that out. I'll post it if somebody wants to post it down here. You should bring in Rachel Maddow. I'm working on it. Working on it. Thomas Fant, thank you for helping me kick off the news tonight. Quick summary. Wait, before we get to that, it's toast time. If you're new here, we do a toast. If you got a drink, pull it out. I'm drinking Uncle Nearest. Props to Uncle Nearest. Props to Fawn and David and everybody there. I'm going to raise a glass. We'll do a toast that we do often. If you just got here, welcome. Pull out your glass. If you don't drink, pull out a glass. It's our way to come together and do a toast. And we do the same toast for the most part most nights. And we will toast to the fallen, to the heroes, to the future. Salud. That shit is good. All right. Chime in with what you're drinking, what you're eating, what you're doing. I will tell you, I've also gotten back into working out. I'm running again, trying to get back in shape, doing push-ups every morning, stretching every morning, doing jumping jacks, trying to get rider moving. And if you haven't heard the breaking news in the world of Rieckhoff and Righteous Media, we are now at an undisclosed location. I am still in the great state of New York. I am not in the city. We did leave the city, got the kids out. We are in a place with some more green and some more nature and some more space for me to write and think. Going back to the city only if we have to, but holding it down here for a while with family and trying to make the best of it. But I am in an undisclosed location. This is Studio D. Before I get to the news, I will give you my book recommendation. You've heard our question of the night is, will baseball reopen in July, yay or nay? I told you the drink of the night. Here's the book of the night. Where'd it go? Okay. I've been reading a lot of kids' books because I got 2 kids and because you should read to them. This is my book of the night. Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. It's good shit. If you don't know, Mo Willems is a genius. If you got little kids, here's another recommendation. I think at noon every day, Mo Willems does a little class. He talks about his life, he talks about his books, and he does a little art project. A couple weeks ago, Ryder and I did it, and we made a crown out of paper, and he draws, and it's really cool. It's kind of like Bob Ross for 2020. But Mo Willems is really cool. I recommend you check it out. If you got kids, check out all his books. But this one, Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. Also want to give a big shout out to my friend Matt Gallagher. If you guys don't know, I'm going to pull it up right now. Matt Gallagher's new book is out. It just came out a couple of days ago. I think at the end of April. But his new book, Empire City, is a novel. It's a post-apocalyptic novel, and it's killing it. So check out, if somebody wants to post a link down there, it's Matt Gallagher, Empire City is what it's called. It's a novel. It's got everybody talking. It's really fantastic. It's dark. It's twisted. It's fantastic. It's going to be a series on HBO or an amazing, groundbreaking major film. It's going to be, you're going to remember this. It's like Ready Player One or Blade Runner. I mean, some really amazing shit. So props and congratulations to my friend Matt Gallagher on the publishing of Empire City. Please check that out. It's coming soon. It's out now everywhere. It's $18.99 on Amazon. You'll tear through it. It's got incredible reviews by people like Tim O'Brien from The Things They Carried and Phil Clay, who's also amazing. But it's all about the consequences and psychology of war, about bad policy. It's fantastically entertaining. But check it out. That's my book. That's the whiskey. That's the poll. Taking your questions. Couple quick news items. The VA says everything's great. I've been talking about it for weeks. The VA is not great. They're not prepared. They're not ready. VA Secretary Wilkie is a failure in my view, most of all because he's dishonest. For weeks and weeks and weeks, he said he had everything they needed. For weeks and weeks and weeks, he said he had all the money he needed. For weeks and weeks and weeks, he said everything was fine. He was fucking lying. And here is the best indication I've ever seen. Today, he posted a tweet thanking the generosity, not of the Department of Defense, not of the president, not of the American people, but of the nation of South Korea for donating 500,000 masks. Apparently, the VA is so short on masks, 500,000 or so, that we are taking donations from the Republic of South Korea. Allies, friends, love the rock soldiers, love the South, but I thought everything was fine. I thought everything was cool. Apparently not. We need $500,000 donations from South Korea. Also, thank you, Mujer Luminosa, for bringing it up. I've been covering the nursing homes across the country that have been devastated by COVID-19, especially the veterans nursing homes. If you haven't been tracking, here's one piece of information that you may not have known before you tuned in tonight. We are now up to 88 veterans have died in one facility in Holyoke, Massachusetts. 88 veterans have died there. Over 100 have died in Secaucus. I think over a dozen have died in Scarborough, Maine. There's now about 36 locations across the country, veterans' homes, soldiers' homes. There's now calls for federal investigations by Elizabeth Warren and others. But Chuck Schumer finally jumped on this. There was a big piece in the New York Times 2 days ago. I've been ringing the bell on this. If you listen to me on Angry Americans, if you tune into this show, you know I've been ringing the bell, screaming from the mountaintops about the fact that veterans' nursing homes are getting devastated. Rachel Maddow's done a great job of talking about nursing homes broadly. I've been drilling down on veterans' nursing homes, and I've been trying to run the numbers. Here's the takeaway that probably won't help you sleep at night, but it's something you should know. I think as many as 20%, maybe 25%, of the overall dead in this country are veterans. Almost 80,000, I think. We're at 80,000 or so today, dead in America. I think a quarter of them could be veterans. We don't know. Death certificates are slow in coming. Diagnosis has been bad. Testing has been bad. We don't know how many people died before the outbreaks began. But I have been trying to track it loosely. And if you think about all these nursing homes where thousands of people are dying, probably 70% chance if they're over 60 that they're World War II veterans. And you'll see it over and over again. Don't trust the VA numbers. They only have numbers about the people who've died within the VA. The people who've died broadly, who've died at home, who've died in civilian hospitals, I think could be as high as 25% of the overall dead. Mujer Luminosa is talking about the Brooklyn VA. Many of you work inside different VA hospitals, but I've been banging on this drum for a couple weeks. My man Ron Perlman just joined. What's up, Ron? Good to see you, my friend. We were just recapping all the reasons that we have to be outraged in America. You, of course, understand where we're coming from. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have a very special guest. My friend Ron Perlman has tuned in and will be joining us. Hold on a minute, dude. Before I bring you in, everybody gets a song, Ron. And how the fuck do I pick a song for you? But I'm going to pick one. So you're going to have to wait for 1 second while I pull in a song for you, because you are an amazing dude. You are a patriot. You are an advocate. If you're just tuning in, tell people that Ron Perlman may be joining us. But here's a song for you, Ron. I don't even know if you know this song. I tried to play the song at my wedding. My wife said no. We're going to bring in the great Ron Perlman. Where is he at? Let's see if this works, people.
I can't agree to disagree. Fighting like I'm fighting for life.
Ha! You know what this song is called?
Absolutely not.
99 Shades of Crazy
Oh, yeah.
by J.J. Grey and Mofro. Do you know
Very
them?
apropos.
Do you know them?
I do not.
They're amazing.
You stumped the band.
Dude, they're really, really good. They're really,
Okay.
really good. And
All right.
I feel like I'm 99 Shades of Crazy right now. And you and I were chopping it up over the weekend. I was like, yo, we should do this more often.
Paul,
Yes.
you relit me, baby. I was doused.
Let's do it.
I was doused, man. You gave me 3,000 miles away, mouth to mouth resuscitation, brother.
My man.
I'm back, man.
My man.
I'm back thanks to you.
No, man. It's a team effort. It's a team effort. You know what I said to you on the phone? I said, dude, Trump is like Godzilla. And we all got to take every single shot we can to bring Godzilla down, right? And once Godzilla's down, we got to step on him. We got to keep him down. We got to make sure he's down. And then we got to rebuild Tokyo afterward. And we need every single voice in the fight. We need all the folks that are listening and watching right now. And most of all, we need you, man.
Well, look,
Dude,
man. I mean, you know, like,
voice of the people.
I thank you so much, man. I thank you for your incredible service to this country. I thank God for the fact that I can call you friend, but I particularly thank you for, let's just go over the circumstances as to how I got to where I was and then put kind of a perspective around it, because I feel as though I was suffering from a malaise that is intended and incredibly effective and very debilitating, and it made me completely lose all my mojo for a short period of time. The one guy I thought to call, the only guy I thought to call with a mojo problem I have a battery of physicians. I just turned 70 years old, so I have a lot of motherfuckers I could have called. But the only guy I called was you, because we're in a war for the soul of our democracy, and we're in a war for the preservation of all of the things that make worth living. You know, and they're all under assault. They're all under attack. Yep. And so I needed to talk to my favorite warrior friend. But here's what happened, man.
Hold on. First of all, thank you. Second of all, I do think we're in a war. We're in a war against the virus. We're in a war against ignorance and stupidity, and often we're greatly outnumbered. The stupidity, I've been talking about my podcast. The stupid is the most intense, most contagious, most destructive virus in America. The stupid is much more dangerous than the coronavirus, much more dangerous than COVID-19. And the stupid started in the White House. It spread through Congress. It spread into Fox News. It spread into the Navy. Okay. Then it went to the governors all across the country. And now, like a mojo boomerang, right? That motherfucker has now swung back into the White House. And the stupid has continued to infect them. So I think it's one of the many things we are fighting. But part of why people love you, part of why, like, I don't know, my followings just went up by like 10x, is because you fight the stupid every day with truth and justice, man. You bring with truth and honesty and patriotism and an open heart. And the malaise that you were feeling, I felt too. And I think when you wrote malaise, man, that word jumped out at me. And my first reaction was to reach out and to just let you know I've been there. You're not alone. To get you on Instagram, my kids, because like my kids are fucking, kryptonite to depression. My little fucking crazy lions will make anybody laugh. You saw that, right?
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
But I love you, and I think this is an important time, and I'm glad that so many people are tuning in. For folks just joining us, followers of Ron, welcome to what I call Righteous Late Night. This is Studio D. We need a name for the car. Ron, I'm dying for your suggestion on a name for the car. We have a drink every night. We have a book every night. We have a question every night. We now have the amazing Ron Perlman joining us as a guest of the night. We're drinking Uncle Nearest whiskey. I don't know if you know this story.
I do not.
Jeffrey Wright is behind this brand. The great Jeffrey Wright, our friend.
I will drink with you, but my brother, it's not a whiskey.
I did a toast earlier, but I can't have Ron Perlman joining us. Do you have a toast? Do you have a family toast or a personal toast or a toast you can raise your glass for people who are tuning in? Make one up.
I do not. God bless you, my brother. God bless you and everything you do for this beautiful land of ours. And here's to you. Here's to you.
To you, sir. To you, to everyone watching.
And here's to being revived.
There you go. To being revived. We say all the time, if I need a fallback toast, it's to the fallen, it's to the heroes, and it's to the future. And dude, that's what we got to remember right now, right? Like the fallen are everywhere, and it's real, and we're losing too many damn people. And the heroes are out there right now. You know, they're picking themselves up and going into hospitals and fighting the good fight and feeding people. And the future, man, the future, we got to build it, man. If we don't build it, someone else will. And last time I talked to you on my podcast, for folks who haven't listened, I think it's fitting that I have a car behind me because you were like one of my very first guests. When my podcast was shit, and like everyone's like, I'm not going on a podcast called Angry Americans. It's too fucking controversial. And you were
I actually thought you named it after me, but anyway, I digress.
I said, like, the ultimate angry American is Ron Perlman, but so is George Washington. He was an angry American. So is Martin Luther King. So is Harvey Milk. So is Barack Obama. So is Donald Trump. They're all angry Americans. The question is, what do you do with it, and how do you turn it into positive energy? But I want to stop there and just I want to ask you a straight up question. Did you watch Dr. Fauci today?
I watched it intermittently. I've been watching the recap of it on the TV. I've been watching a lot of people putting together incredible diametrically opposed videotape of Fauci and what he's saying as compared to what the orangutan in chief puts out there in terms of it's first of all, thank God for Fauci. Thank God for him. I want to go back for a second, though, before we get on this, because what was it? Oh, yeah, you were saying that the stupid, right? The thing that is even more diabolical than the fact that these people are stupid is the fact that they are they know more than that stupid representation that they're putting out is indicative of. They are exploiting people who are, just their heads are spinning from globalization. Their heads are spinning from the fact that wages haven't moved in 30 years. Their heads are spinning from the fact that, there's all these famous motherfuckers on Instagram and Twitter, and why can't I be like them? And then this motherfucker comes along and exploits the shit out of them knowingly. The worst part of it is what he directs them to do with their misery and their anger.
That's it.
And it leads to violence. It leads to ripping, what is already a precarious experiment, having 50 states try to be united, 50 different philosophies, 50 different regions, 50 different conditions of, what is Americanism, try to be united. Then this motherfucker comes along and deliberately, and all his friends, all the other motherfuckers, deliberately exploit people's, lack of good luck, lack of good direction, lack of
anger,
yeah,
right, like that.
Which ultimately manifests itself as anger, or can, if it's directed to do so, in the most diabolical of ways. And when I use the word diabolical, that the knowing act of exploiting people's frustration to make them attack the haves in this country, or who they think are the have, by painting people as elites, but because they have an education, because because I mean, for whatever reason it is that they're exploiting these people to start hating on everybody else.
Yeah.
This is biblical in nature. I mean, this is not political. This is not.
We've been here before, man. I mean, like, this has happened before. It'll happen again. Like, there are leaders who will manipulate the anger and the frustration and the economic despair. Bill Clinton said at one point, in the last 10 years, he said, there's a lot of people who are threatened by the change. There's so much change. And I'm reluctant to quote Bill Clinton, but I think he had this part right. He said, the world is changing really fast. Globalization is happening. Technology is happening. Diversification is happening. And there are a lot of people who are like, oh, shit, it's too fast. Slow it down. I want to just hold on. I'm scared. I'm afraid I'm going to fall off. I'm afraid I'm going to get left behind. Slow it down and keep it here. And that feeling of fear, right, that sometimes manifests itself in anger is what he channeled, in my view, into Trumpism, into where we are now, into the division, into the animosity, into the racism, into the perpetuation of fear. And that's why I called the show Angry Americans, because I said, look, we can reclaim anger as something that is righteous. It's natural to be angry, right? You see people dying from COVID. You see this president. You see kids getting shot. You see what happened in Georgia. It's natural to be angry. The question is, what do you do with that anger, right? How do you channel it into something positive? And we want to channel it into something positive. Yeah. And he wants to channel it into something negative. So I want to take that back. I think that's what you've done. You take that back and turn that anger into positive change. The civil rights movement was about channeling anger into something positive, right?
Right, right.
So that's what I think this moment's about too, man. And I'm glad that you're out there throwing punches.
Anger is the offshoot of injustice.
It's true.
Nothing makes me angrier, all these like decades of walking this earth and watching shit that was really unimportant fall away and but there's this one thing that won't fall away, and it's the thing that keeps me really pissed off, and that is injustice. That is, like when you're looking at something white and the guy in chief says, look at that black thing. And you're going, wait, what? What the fuck? I mean, anyway.
It's right. It's opposite day. It's like every day in the Trump administration is opposite day. Today, before you came on, folks know I cover a lot of veterans issues, national defense. To all Ron's followers, welcome. And if you want to tune in, we go deep on national security, veterans issues, military stuff, first responders, cops, firefighters, EMTs are on the front lines. We've been talking a lot about the VA. Today, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, who in my view is a liar and a failure, said he had all that he needed, PPE, he had all the resources, nurses were protesting in Georgia and in Jersey and all across the country. Doctors were saying they didn't have PPE. It was clear they were behind, but he said everything was fine. And the ultimate example of how the Trump administration is opposite day is today, VA Secretary Wilkie posted on Twitter, thank you for 500,000 masks to the Republic of South Korea, the people of South Korea. He's thanking them, which is great. I love the South Koreans, great allies. I'm happy that they're helping. But why the fuck do we need 500,000 masks from South Korea if everything's fine? If everything's cool, why do we need them to donate masks to our veterans? It's because they weren't ready. It's because they lied. It's because they haven't been transparent. And now they're trying to flip it, right, and say it's opposite day. We're going to celebrate the fact that another country had to send us masks because we weren't ready, right?
I mean, it's got to drive you nuts how they wrap themselves in the whole myth of that these are the law enforcement guys. These are the military guys. These are the guys who really, really love the people who put the uniform on and walk into danger every day. And you look at their actions and it's just tragic that it's all complete bullshit. There's not we should have known when the guy was running for president that he skipped out on a debate so he could go do a photo op on a battleship or some shit.
Yeah, no, what he did, this is what he does. It's a really important point, right? because, they always said, when fascism comes to America, it'll come wrapped in an American flag. He knows how to play the veterans and military card. You'll see every time Trump's back is against the wall, he will pull that card. When he boycotted the Fox debate, he did a veterans fundraiser in Iowa. And every time his back's against the wall, he said, look at me, I'm helping our veterans. He's like, wait a minute, don't drag us into this shit. We have enough problems. We don't want to get politicized. And that's one of, I think, maybe the most damaging things he's done is the degree to which he's politicized the military, veterans, that entire community. I've had folks say to me, you know what, man, like I can't support veterans because supporting veterans is supporting Trump. I said, wait a minute, we're not a monolith. Let's break that apart. But he knew. It was very shrewd politically, right? Wrap yourselves in veterans. Look like my generals are behind us. It makes you look strong, makes you look tough. But it's also populism, right? Like I always say, there's nothing more popular in America. Babies, puppies, and vets, right? Babies, puppies, and maybe motorcycles. I don't know. You can't be a politician and shit on babies or puppies and vets and get reelected. So he knew that, and he twisted it. And that was, I think, one of his most effective and damaging manipulations. But,
I mean, we had Pussygate and everything like that. For me, it was skipping out on the Fox debate, going to do this photo op in a battleship, and having his 4 richest scumbag friends donate like $1 million each so that $5 million were going to go to organizations. The first thing I thought of was you were still running IALVA at the time. Well, for those who don't know, Paul Rieckhoff founded Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, right? That's what that stands for, right?
Yep.
An amazing organization. But, I mean, the first thing I did was I said, what are you going to do with all that money, baby? The money never materialized.
No, we said no. We said we're not going to be bought. We're not going to be politicized. We are small. We're effective nonprofit, relatively small, and we said no. We said we won't take money from Trump. We won't take money from Bernie Sanders. We won't take money from any politician because we don't want to get bought. I wouldn't take money from Al Qaeda either, right? Like some people say, there's the old. I think it was a Reagan quote. I'll take the devil's money to do God's work. I disagree. I will not get bought by anybody, and we didn't want to get canceled. So when we said no, Ron, you know what happened? This is like one of the first indications of how nasty this swarm was. We got death threats. We got people threatening our social workers. We have social workers who would help veterans get off the streets, who would help veterans who were facing suicide. We had people blowing up our phone lines, threatening them, saying that we were traitors, that we should just take the fucking money and shut up. And it got scary, man. Like we had to increase security. Like we had to be really careful. But the nastiness that came, just because we said no to his money, right? It was some of the most nasty threats we've gotten. And I did that shit for 15 years. I never saw anything like that, man. That was nuts.
Wow. Well, there you go. The fucked up thing is, even though you said no, there was never any money to begin with.
No, he didn't fucking yeah.
Right?
There's a great reporter at the Washington Post whose name escapes me, David. He's got a really long last name. I don't want to fuck up his name, but he is an outstanding investigative reporter at the Washington Post, and he does really good work. And one of the things he's done, David Falkenstein. If anybody's listening, read David Falkenstein at the Washington Post. This guy's basically been ripping through Trump's charities for going on 4 years. Every time Trump said he gave money somewhere, he dug underneath. He ripped into the foundation and all the other philanthropic giving he had done. This guy, he should win a Pulitzer if he didn't. But check out David Falkenstein. I think he's a fantastic investigative reporter who revealed that I think Trump said he raised $20 million and they couldn't account for half of it.
It never went anywhere because there was never any money. It was all just some bullshit reality show hype, which is basically where the malaise begins and ends, man, because what really gets me is that, we're watching this guy in real time, like break down in front of us, lie his fucking face off, preside over 80,000 dead and counting, never once refers to any family member that's lost one of the 80,000 Americans that have needlessly died. We were going to have some deaths with the coronavirus, but if we had a national response, if we had all of the power and the glory of the United States government and all of the great people who work in national security and work in all of the departments that are put together to assembled to respond to something like this, catch it before
Yeah.
you know, this is I lost my train of thought. I think this tequila.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, like, look, it was coronavirus coming was in many ways parallels 9/11 in my view, right? The threat was known by some. You know, leadership was warned. How serious are you going to take the threat? Then you have the indications of the threat. Then you have an attack. Then you have an opportunity to respond. And he had many opportunities along the way to be proactive. And I've always talked about, you know, mobilizing the National Guard, the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, all those. If he had just told people the truth and said, you know what, this is going to be a challenge, might be a 10, might be a 2, but let's go above and beyond and be careful, right? Let's make sure we protect the American people, because there's no more important obligation for the commander-in-chief than protecting the American people.
Right.
But he downplayed it, or he was too slow. You know, either way, he fucked it up. And I would argue, because you know I'm an independent, I don't have a political home. The two guys that are most responsible for the situation we're in right now, singularly in America, are Donald Trump and Bill de Blasio. Both of them, from both parties, downplayed the threat. They moved slow. They were weak. And for different reasons, they failed as leaders, in my view. And that's a huge reason why we are where we are. So this leads me to another question. Ron Perlman, will you run for mayor of New York, please?
I mean, I don't know how I could be president and mayor.
Look at all the hearts going. A lot of people are like, yes, people want you to run for president. And, you know, it's a little late in the game for that. It may be hard to get you on the ballot.
I don't know.
You can run for mayor of New York.
I don't know. In this world where there are no rules, there are no norms, there's nothing sacred anymore.
Look at the comments. Ron for mayor down here. Like, and by the way, I got to thank you all to all the followers joining in. We got people writing in Arabic. We got people from all over the world who love Ron Perlman. Welcome to all of you to Righteous Late Night. If we get logged out, it's because they only let you do this for an hour. So Ron, if you got time to come back, we'll come back. If you
I was gonna excuse myself so that you can continue to run your show, because I'm taking up all your space and time.
No, you people need to hear from you. I told you this the other day, man. Let me ask you this. Because I know you're deep in it, and I know people want to hear it, but like, give me something that's not politics, not coronavirus, not acting. You know, what are you listening to right now? Music.
I'm listening to what I always listen to, man. A shitload of Sinatra, Bob Dylan, Miles Davis, Thelonious Monk.
Bob Dylan's got a new album. I think is it out or it's coming out?
Yeah, it's just about to drop. He dropped this thing about the conspiracy of the JFK killing about a week ago.
Yeah, and
I guess that was the teaser for what is going to be, another chapter in this glorified, beautiful. Can you imagine if Bob Dylan was, 22, which is what he was when he recorded Freewheelin', which has got, like, if you go through the song list on Freewheelin', the first song on the album is The Times They Are Changing and stuff. And then the last song on the album, which is, I think, the greatest song ever written, which is A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall.
Yeah, great song. Yeah.
Now, can you imagine if the 22-year-old Bob Dylan were writing today? I mean, I can't imagine how he would process the shit that because he wrote another one that's on that album is called Masters of War, which is the one time where Dylan unmasks himself. There's no poetry. It's one-dimensional. It's like, I hope that you die and your death will come soon. I'll follow your casket on a pale afternoon. I mean,
for the youngsters, like, we play music from time to time. This song fucking makes me cry. If people don't know, A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall.
Yeah, my God.
You can hear it, right?
I can hear it.
So
sometimes
people out there that need inspiration, right?
Sometimes
nothing else today. If people did nothing else today, they listen to Bob Dylan with Ron Perlman.
Yeah. Listen to that song, A Hard Rain is Gonna Fall, and think about what we've fucking, stood by and watched these guys do to the earth.
Yeah.
There's only one of those. So, watch what these guys have done to sacred shit. Like, when you tell me that you like all of the guys that you like lifted up by everything you did when you came home. You know, having done 3, 4, 5, 6 tours, having been in the most fucked up places on the earth.
Yep.
And then you're fielding death threats from fucking Americans because some fucking game show host, riles that shit up. I mean,
yeah.
If you ain't angry, you ain't paying attention, brother.
Telling you, man. We put it on a T-shirt and everything, right? Like
I had that. Well, this is one of your T-shirts, man.
Oh, it is. Look at that. See,
I had
the men and women of Oscar Mike. They also do Orange County custom shirts, made in America, made by veterans. If folks don't know, check out Oscar Mike. If one of our folks tuning in wants to post a link, it's oscarmike.org, I believe. Awesome group. See,
this
man,
morning.
There's a lot of hope out there. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of intensity. We've been through a lot of shit. You've been through a lot of shit, but it steels us for the fight, right? And we got to stick together, and we got to move forward. And you bring so much inspiration to so many people. I always want to thank you for it because you are a patriot. You are the best form of patriot. You're out there throwing punches. And, a lot of people in your shoes don't want to make a fuss, don't want to upset people. And, by the way, you also make fucking great art.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We one of these days
Are you writing or doing anything creative right now other than being you, which is a creative exercise in and of itself?
I write tweets. That's pretty much. I wish I could write like screenplays like the ones that float my boat and turn me on. Yeah. I had to become a producer of films because I have such an incredible admiration for great writing. And since I can't write, the best thing I can do is maybe try to lift up a writer and say, hey, let me try to get your movie financed and stuff. So I've been doing a lot of that in the last few years, which has been awesome, just fucking awesome, and lifelong dream. But yeah, I'm in the middle of shooting a movie right now, which got, interrupted. Probably go back to work in like this in September, whatever. But it's
run for mayor.
Right now.
Run for mayor in New York. Look, let me just tell you straight up. First of all, I'm glad you're working on shit. If people, Asher's on your Twitter page right now. There's a lot of good shit. If you're quarantining, go back and do Ron Perlman's greatest hits. Like you can do Ron Perlman night, right? And educate the youngsters in your family or whoever, right? But, you could, right now, let's break it down. For folks that aren't as political, maybe don't understand, right now, there's no front runner in the race for mayor of New York City. The front runner is probably Corey Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Speaker of the City Council, a young guy. There's talk that like Eric Adams, the Brooklyn Borough president, could jump in. People would love AOC to jump in. People would love to see Andrew Yang jump in. Bloomberg can't run again. De Blasio's termed out. If you run tomorrow, you say, "Yo, I'm running for mayor of New York." I think you're probably. This is not just an emotional response. This is an expert analysis. You're definitely top 3.
Listen,
you could be polling number 1. If you start banging on de Blasio every day, I would pay money just to see you shit on de Blasio every day.
Well, I'll be happy to act like I'm running, show up on the debate stage a few nights and, take a couple of big shits. But, what I'm realizing right now is that governing is, I got into acting because, you can be really lazy and have no skills and no discipline and do okay.
Yeah.
But governing, especially the city of New York, man.
Governing's fucking hard.
That's. I don't think I got what it takes, bro.
Oh, I think you do. I think you do.
Look, winning is one. It's like that great line from Hamilton. Winning is easy. Leading is hard. Governing is hard because
it's true.
You got to read a lot of shit. You got to, a lot of people they're yelling in your ear. You got to
But one of the things you really have to learn, and this is my experience being up close and being in the game of advocacy and legislative work and media work, you have to be able to process information, you have to have a core, like a value core, like an integrity core, and you got to be able to make decisions, right? You got to be able to make decisions all day long, every day. You got to make the right decision as often as possible. You know, it could be about the subways, or it could be about whether or not to close schools, right? But it's also about like that integrity, and that's why I think, if I gave you anything to run, if I said, hey man, run this base of people over here, run this film set, run this U.S. territory. You're a guy who knows how to process information, put together teams, inspire people, make decisions. Trump is shown. You don't exactly have to be qualified to be able to govern, and you're infinitely you are infinitely more.
Yeah, but who says he can govern? I mean,
but you're infinitely more qualified than the president.
Well, but who isn't?
There's some people who aren't, right? There's some people who aren't.
I really here are my only regrets tonight, bro.
Yeah.
And that is, I still haven't been able to come up with a name for the car behind you, because that thing.
Look, people. All right, can I tell you some? We've got nominations. Orange Crush, Agent Orange is a big one. Sunkissed, right? Like this fucker. What's amazing is you can't see the dent on the other side that we got to work out. It's fucking pretty significant, but this side looks. You're a movie star. Like I picked a really good shot for this.
Yeah. Well, I never had a good side.
354 on the floor. Needs a name.
All right. Well, those are all really great names, awesome names. I don't think that they quite cover the grandiosity, the magnificence of what I'm looking at back there. Maybe that's the name of it, the Magnificent.
The Magnificent. It's got the wheels too, man, and it's a convertible.
Yeah, but that ain't it.
The pandemic is over.
I feel like if my mojo was a little bit better there, I would have come up with a name for the motherfucker. But
here's a good part. You got plenty of time.
I'll call you back with a name. I'll text you later.
When the pandemic is over, we're throwing, for all your new followers, we're gonna throw a massive fucking party at the Classic Car Club in New York City. Awesome place. Support this show. It's where we shoot a lot of our shows when there's not a pandemic going on.
Right.
And we said we're gonna throw a big ass fucking party there. We're going to bring this car in. I have a massive bottle of champagne that's like bigger than my 4-year-old that we're going to pop. But maybe you can make an entrance in that fucking car, come flying in, and announce you're running for mayor. Oh.
Come fly with me. Come fly. Let's fly away.
Come on, man. What do you say?
Love you, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Hold on, I gotta give you we do a play-in song, we do a play-out song. Can I play you out with a song?
Please do. I can't wait to see what this is gonna be.
Well, you said it, so.
Everybody.
Come fly with me, let's fly away.
Right?
That was one smooth motherfucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great and powerful Ron Perlman.
Tipping my hat to you all. Hey, thanks for letting me yell and scream and make a fool of myself.
Let's do it again. We can call it Ron and Rieckhoff. We can call it Paul and Perlman. We can come up with some better names, man.
Okay.
But America loves you, Ron Perlman.
I love America right back, baby. And I would do anything for this place, man.
We know it.
And if you check my Twitter account, you'll realize I have.
If you're not kicked off tonight,
I might just be. That's my goal. I got kicked off a little while ago.
I know.
You know what I got kicked off for? You know what I got kicked off for saying? They kick you
off and they don't kick fucking Trump off? How is that possible?
You know what I got kicked off for saying? I should tell you this on your little thing. This is my going away present to you.
Yeah.
When one of the Koch brothers died, I wrote, looking forward to a speedy reunion. Boom! Out! 12-hour suspension.
Like that's you can argue it's in bad taste, but like, is that worse than, I don't know, galvanizing a race war or the shit that he says on Twitter, right? Like, yeah. But you know what? I think it's changed now because now you have almost 800,000 followers. When you got almost 1 million followers, now you're driving enough traffic. They kick you off so that your numbers go up, so they can monetize your clicks and eat off your back, man.
Let's hope so.
Good night, my
brother.
friend.
Say hello to the beautiful kids.
I will, and to your family as well. Stay frosty, my brother.
God bless, Paul. God bless.
God bless you, my friend. Stay
Bye.
frosty. Do you know how to get out of this?
I just leave.
Yeah, I think you do. All right, guys. So if you're just joining us, if you're sticking around, that was the great and powerful Ron Perlman. My name is Paul Rieckhoff. I'm the founder of Righteous Media, independent media, culture, news. I host a podcast called Angry Americans. Ron was my guest, I think, in episode 5. Go to angryamericans.us and check it out. Ron Perlman lights it up. I talked to him from his car in Los Angeles. He's driving around Los Angeles talking to me from his car. He talks about what makes him angry, what makes him happy, his favorite drink, his first car. If you don't know Ron Perlman's first car, go back and check it out. But that's the great and powerful Ron Perlman. Join us again. We will do this again on Righteous Late Night. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you to all our regular followers. Thank you to our new followers. Somebody asked me, what's the Bob Dylan song? The Bob Dylan song that Ron was referring to is Hard Rain's Gonna Fall. Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Bob Dylan classic. There is a new Bob Dylan album out. A couple final thoughts before we wrap up here from Studio D. Thank you to all the new folks. Thank you to Ron Perlman. Thank you to Uncle Nearest Whiskey. Thank you to my guest last week, Kristen Rowe Finkbeiner. Tune in to Angry Americans, new episode coming on Thursday. Keep spreading the word, especially about the number of veterans that are being lost at soldiers' homes across the country. And with that, my friends, my message is always the same. Stay home, stay vigilant, and stay frosty. Paul Rieckhoff signing off after another wild night in our pandemic days. Pour one out for the lost, for the heroes.